I would consider myself somewhat of an expert on Google Slides. I have made such Google Slides as why Gandhi was wrong. As any good educator would do, I thought, why keep this information to myself? I have to spread it around the world. I have to scream from the hilltops, scream from the mountaintops. Listen to me. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna teach you, yes, you, how to make your very own Google Slides presentation. It would be a bit redundant to make a Google Slides presentation on how to make a Google Slides presentation, so I need to ask artificial intelligence for some help.
The effects of climate change on agriculture and food security.
Climate change is a thing. Greta Thunberg is the lady who talked about Andrew Tate or something and made him cry and piss his pants. The first thing you want to do when you open up the Google Slides homepage is you're going to want to press the blank button. You don't want to use any of the presets shit, that's for dummies. So it's going to prompt you again. It's going to say, hey, you want to select a theme? You want to select a little theme that you can put... No! Instead, you have to use a background. Usually I go over to the Images tab. Make sure the image isn't 1920 by 1080, because if it is, you're not taking advantage of Google Slides. It has this wonderful mechanism where if you put any image in, it'll stretch it perfectly to fit the boundaries of the said slide. Now, the title is obviously going to be something similar to this, so we're gonna take just this whole thing, we're gonna copy and paste it. That looks pretty good. Now, you'll notice that's quite small, but that means that's what the AI intended. Usually the subtitle is who it's by. Once you've gotten your nice first slide down, now you have to move on to the next slide. How are you going to follow up that first slide if you put your heart and soul and balls into it? You can change up the color theme. That's a nice color. I don't know where that color came from. Apparently I used it recently. You can change up the text. You can change the font size, the font theme, the font color. You're gonna wanna make the title pop. Choose a nice color that pops with yellow, pink, and you're gonna wanna make the font different as well. So let's go with Comic Sans. The types of images, people might not know what climate change is. Insert an image related to climate change. This doesn't fill up quite enough of the screen. Make sure you cover up a little bit of the text just to make it interesting. Bring this all the way out as far as you can in order to make sure that everybody can see it. And you have to make it different. Everything has to be different from the last one so that people are entertained and they're kept on edge. Once you've made this second slide, if you go into the presentation screen, it's just gonna flip from one slide to another. And that's not something you want it to do. You want it to be interesting. You want it to be pungent, pompous, pussy. So you need to add transitions. The cube animation is one of my favorites. You want to make it nice and slow. That way people have a time to process it. They won't be surprised. Similar to transitions and slide transitions, you'll find animations. Now, animations are like the transitions inside the transitions. It's the matrix. It's the infinite loophole. Let me give you an example. That's an example of an animation in human form. You can choose a multitude of different animations. For this, just the title, it's very important. So we're going to have it appear. We don't want it to appear immediately. We want it to appear 5 seconds after the presentation begins. It'll appear and they'll be so surprised by that they'll just have to read it. Always make sure everything is slow, just to keep it nice and easy to start off with. We can speed things up later to keep people on their toes. You're probably wondering, how do I end off my slide? Your most important text has to be the hardest to read. When you have difficult text to read, they're going to be focused on it and they're going to be more engaged in what they're seeing. If you really want to drive a point home, use reverse psychology. We're trying to say that they're not related. So what I would do for that is like a big red X. What's the opposite of a red X is a check mark. Stretch it across both sides. You notice this kind of obstructs people's view. So this is where the animations come in. We need to emphasize that it's reverse psychology. We're going to have it fade out, fly in from left, spin a couple times, and then to emphasize again that it's reverse psychology, we're going to have it zoom out. Now that I'm done with my presentation, I'm going to present it to you to give you an example. The effects of climate change on agriculture and food security. Climate change. Agriculture. They are not related, open parentheses, not cousins or sister, closed parentheses. Thank you for watching my presentation. I know I'm overwhelmingly charismatic and you may not be able to carry the same energy that I put forth. Just know that you can do your best. If you do your best, it might just be acceptable if you get lucky. Thank you for watching my presentation, and if you want me to do more tutorials like this, informative educational content in the future, please let me know.